GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Here are our top stories.
Police say a dispute in Verdun escalated to an armed clash, leaving a man seriously injured and resulting in the arrest of both individuals. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Police say a dispute in the Verdun neighborhood erupted into a gun-filled clash just before 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Officers responded to reports of an armed confrontation, finding a man and a woman engaged in a violent exchange. The man sustained serious injuries and was taken to hospital, while both suspects were placed under arrest at the scene. Authorities confirmed that 2 people were detained and that the injured party is a male. The investigation is ongoing as detectives piece together what sparked the escalation. No further details have been released regarding motives or weapons involved. Officers established a perimeter around the block, urging residents to stay indoors while they canvassed for witnesses. The scene remained cordoned off for hours as teams processed the area. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Verdun.
Police are probing a possible murder after a woman was found dead, and a man sustained serious injuries in Montreal's St. Michel neighborhood on August 15. Officers from the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal responded to the scene and have launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the fatality. The incident marks what could be the 14th homicide recorded in the city this year, adding to a total of 1 death and 1 person critically wounded in this case. Investigators are gathering evidence and questioning witnesses as they work to determine motive and identify any suspects. The SBVM has not released further details at this time, but confirmed that the investigation remains active. Forensic teams are processing the scene, and detectives are reviewing surveillance footage to locate the individual responsible. No arrests have been made as the inquiry continues.
Construction crews broke ground today on a new wharf that marks the first phase of the Port of Montreal's $2.3 billion expansion. The project, situated along the St. Lawrence River, will add several meters of berth space and modern cargo handling equipment. Officials say the work is part of a broader nation-building effort to boost Canada's transportation network and accommodate growing trade volumes. The ongoing build is expected to run for several years, with completion slated for the late 2030s. Provincial and federal partners have pledged funding, and the Port Authority expects the added capacity to create new jobs and improve supply chain efficiency for shippers across the country. The new facility will also incorporate environmentally friendly design standards to reduce waterway impacts. Local businesses anticipate smoother import and export flows, while nearby neighborhoods look forward to the economic lift.
After 3 weeks of evacuation, officials have lifted the order for Pear Lake residents, though the wildfire, 3 times the size of Montreal Island, continues to burn. Anton Prevost has the full story.
The evacuation order that sent families packing 3 weeks ago is now lifted, and residents are filing back into their homes even as the Pear Lake blaze still smolders. Fire crews keep a line of containment around the perimeter, but flames continue to lick the forested hills that stretch roughly 3 times the size of Montreal Island. Officials say most structures are safe, though a few homes remain under watch for ember damage. The community is checking windows, clearing debris, and setting up temporary generators while the smoke drifts over the valley. Authorities will maintain patrols and air monitoring throughout the night, urging anyone who spots a flare to call emergency services. Anton Prevost, GMNA News, Pear Lake.
An upcoming Quebec Superior Court decision will approve a $31.5 million settlement with the Archdiocese of Quebec, ending decades of abuse lawsuits. The judge's ruling, slated for today, responds to claims that clergy and staff sexually assaulted victims as far back as 1940. More than 100 survivors have brought the cases forward, seeking acknowledgement and compensation for the historic misconduct. The settlement, negotiated after years of litigation, aims to provide financial redress while the Archdiocese acknowledges its responsibility. Legal experts note the amount reflects both the scale of the allegations and the court's effort to bring closure to the protracted legal battle. Victims and their families hope the agreement will finally offer some measure of justice after a long struggle for accountability. The decision is expected to be announced in the morning session of the court.
Later, we'll check on the tragic 5-year-old drowning in a Drummondville home pool, plus more headlines. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. Quebec's Minister of Finance, Christine Freichet, will travel to Newfoundland on Monday to sign a new Churchill Falls agreement alongside provincial officials Bernard Drainville and Claudine Bouchard, and representatives from Hydro-Quebec. The ceremony marks a concrete step in the multi-year talks that have centered on the historic hydroelectric contract linking Quebec's power grid with the Churchill Falls generating complex in Labrador. While the original deal, signed decades ago, has long been a source of financial and jurisdictional tension, the upcoming pact is intended to address revenue sharing, capacity upgrades, and long-term delivery commitments. Officials say the agreement could stabilize electricity pricing for both provinces and lay groundwork for further infrastructure collaboration. The signing follows a series of bilateral meetings that have sought to balance Newfoundland's resource interests with Quebec's growing energy demand.
A 5-year-old child drowned Friday night in a residential pool in Drummondville, Centre du Québec, according to the Sûreté du Québec. Authorities are investigating the circumstances. Anton Prévost has the full story.
Police say a 5-year-old was found unresponsive in a private pool Friday night in Drummondville, Centre du Québec. The Sûreté du Québec responded after a neighbor called, and officers found the child at the bottom of the water. First responders initiated CPR on site, but the child was pronounced dead before an ambulance arrived. Investigators are now examining whether safety measures such as a fence or cover were in place. Residents report a quiet suburban street, and neighbors described hearing faint splashing before the call. The police have not released the family's name pending notification. A community vigil is being organized for the grieving family. Authorities will meet with local officials to discuss preventive measures for other pools in the area. Anton Prévost, GMNA News, Drummondville.
2 people were killed and several others injured in a vehicle collision on Route 105 Friday afternoon in the Outaouais region of western Quebec. The Quebec Provincial Police said the crash involved a single vehicle that left the roadway and struck a tree, leaving the driver and a passenger dead at the scene. Emergency crews transported the injured to nearby hospitals, where they are being treated for a range of injuries. Police are conducting a thorough investigation and have not released details about the cause. The incident adds to a pattern of road accidents that remain one of the leading sources of traffic fatalities across the province, officials noted. Residents traveling the route are being urged to exercise caution while authorities finalize their findings. They also reminded motorists that weather conditions can change rapidly along the corridor.
Charlie Rousseau filed a formal challenge after a $40 parking citation was issued in June when she could not operate the coin-operated meter on a busy downtown street in Rowan-Noranda. The meter, an older model that requires inserting exact change, proved difficult for her to reach and manipulate, prompting the dispute. Local officials confirmed the ticket was issued despite her visible struggle with the device, sparking debate over the continued use of meters that demand manual coin insertion. Advocacy groups note that such equipment creates barriers for residents with limited dexterity, and the town's transportation department has been asked to assess whether modern, accessible alternatives are needed. Rousseau's case adds to a growing chorus of complaints across the province about outdated parking technology. The Municipal Council has scheduled a review of all coin-only stations, and legal experts say the challenge could set a precedent for accessibility standards in municipal enforcement.
6 separate collisions across Quebec on Friday left at least 6 dead and numerous injured as drivers returned to roads for the new school year. Authorities urge heightened caution. Elise Marchand has the full story.
6 separate collisions across Quebec left at least 6 dead and left multiple people injured as motorists headed into the start of the school year on Friday. Police reports confirm each crash occurred on different highways and local roads, with emergency crews responding to scenes ranging from a rural stretch near Saint-Jean to a busy arterial in the greater Montreal area. Authorities said the incidents spanned the morning and early afternoon, with several victims taken to hospitals in critical condition. Families of the deceased have been notified, and investigators are gathering evidence to determine contributing factors. Officials are urging drivers to reduce speed and remain vigilant as traffic volume rises with students returning to classrooms. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Montreal.
Now let's get a look at tonight's forecast with our weather team.
A stubborn high anchored over the St. Lawrence, while a brisk northwest jet sculpts tonight's clear, calm night. The all-time August 15th high for Montreal sits at 28.7 degrees, recorded during the lingering 2020 heat wave that pushed the city into an unprecedented 3-day streak above 27. The record low, 11.6 degrees, fell in the sudden 2019 cold snap when an Arctic surge slipped southward behind a stalled front. By contrast, the climatological average for today hovers around a high of 24 and a low of 15 degrees. Those normals illustrate how today's modest 26 peak feels warm, but still well below the historic extreme. The live radar shows a blank canvas across the province, no echoes, no rain bands. A high-pressure dome suppresses lift, while the fast northwest jet aloft slices the atmosphere, keeping moisture locked out. With the ridge holding steady, any lingering clouds will drift eastward and dissolve before midnight. That clean picture hands us a straightforward transition into tomorrow's outlook. At 11 p.m., the city basks under a clear sky, temperature 18, humidity 77%, and a gentle 8 km/h wind from the southwest. The high-pressure ridge remains steady, forcing air to sink and suppress any convection, while the jet stream overhead races northwest at roughly 168 km/h, ventilating the column and keeping moisture at bay. With that set up, tonight's temperatures will slip toward the forecast low of 14 before sunrise, and the calm will persist through the early morning. As the ridge drifts east, daytime heating will lift the mercury to a high of 26, modest for late summer but well above the climatological average. No alerts are in effect, and the UV index sits at 4. Sunday will break the dry spell with a dense cloud shield delivering near certain rain. Highs will linger around 23 while lows dip to 14, and the moisture will be driven by a weak low pressure trough sliding eastward. Monday eases slightly as the ridge rebuilds, bringing a high of 25 and a low of 17 under overcast skies with only a modest chance of showers. Tuesday remains similar, high of 25 under overcast and low of 17, but the atmosphere steadies as the jet stream lifts north. Wednesday reintroduces precipitation, half of the province expected to see rain as highs fall to 23 and lows hold at 17. Thursday finally clears, offering a crisp high of 22, low 15, and mostly sunny conditions, though a lingering fringe of clouds may linger. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, we break down today's traffic snarls, preview what's on tonight, and recap the latest sports headlines. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Big moves, big questions, and a club drawing a hard line tonight. CF Montreal is not waiting around on this one. Following a Major League Soccer investigation into anti-Semitic language directed at New England Revolution forward Dor Turgeman, the club has handed down permanent bans to 2 fans and suspended benefits for an entire supporter section. Montreal made clear that kind of conduct costs you your seat permanently. The Canadiens' front office is under the microscope this offseason. Kent Hughes has deals on his ledger that haven't delivered, and that conversation is getting louder. Meanwhile, the biggest question in Montreal's crease is whether Jacob Dobish can back up a stellar rookie campaign. That encore question will define this team's ceiling heading into the new season. Juraj Slavkovsky is a hero at home in more ways than one. The Canadiens' winger has been named the first-ever honorary citizen of his home village of Budimir, and he has claimed Slovak Hockey Player of the Year for the 4th time. 4 awards before training camp opens, the kid's legacy is building on both sides of the Atlantic. Plenty to watch as training camp season gets closer. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Jason.
Welcome back. Negotiations continue on a provincial federal financing pact for Quebec infrastructure, with no agreement signed and terms to be disclosed after the upcoming election, officials said. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Negotiations continue on a province-wide infrastructure financing package, but officials say the deal remains unsigned. Provincial Minister Freychet and Federal Finance Chief Carney confirmed the agreement will not be finalized until after the upcoming election, and they declined to reveal the specific terms. The pending arrangement is meant to channel federal and provincial funds into road repairs, transit upgrades, and other public works across the province. Both sides stress the need for a stable funding framework, yet the timing means projects could face delays while the political calendar unfolds. Stakeholders are watching closely as the deadline approaches, hoping the eventual pact will unlock the resources required for Quebec's infrastructure renewal. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Montreal.
Quebec milk producers have voiced concern over unsettling information about the ongoing Canada-U.S. trade negotiations that could impact the dairy sector, saying the details are troubling. Elise Marchand has the full story.
Inside the bustling dairy district of Montreal, representatives from the Quebec milk producers gathered this morning, voicing unease over the latest intel on the Canada-United States trade negotiations. According to the group, the details they have received are unsettling, suggesting potential shifts that could ripple through the province's dairy farms and processors. The producers emphasize that their concerns stem from the possibility of altered market access, pricing structures, and supply chains under a new agreement. While officials from both Ottawa and Washington continue their talks, the Quebec Coalition is urging clearer communication and safeguards for local dairy operations. The industry watches closely, awaiting any formal commitments that might reshape its future. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. Tonight's look at the $2.3 billion port expansion highlighted the city's bold future, and we'll keep you updated on the stories that matter. I'm Peter Miller. Tune in tomorrow for more of The Wrap. Stay safe and see you then, and keep watching.